to go with this trend of reduced items, if you see something, pay attention to the date, the sell-by date. Again, most of the time that sell-by date doesn't really matter. The product is still good, but you can go up and ask them to reduce it if it's close, and you can get things again for 50% off or more. So just go ahead and ask them to reduce it. Number 13, something we do to save money on the road is take advantage of free samples. Particularly in the mid-morning hours, if you go into the grocery store, say like a Fred Meyer's on the West Coast, and you walk around, they'll have free samples all over. It ranges from bakery items to fruits and sandwiches even around lunchtime. And you can get quite a bit of snacks for free. So take advantage of those freebies. If you're traveling, this is a great option. All right, 14, cook instead of eating out. Obviously, if you're traveling on the road, if you're living on the road like us full time, you can't be eating out all the time. That adds up. So if you want to save money, cook out. You have a couple of options here. You can cook on a fire, or you can bring a camp stove with you and cook on it. Those are the two main ways that we get food on the road. And I mean, the camp stove is already paid for itself. As I mentioned, it was about $20-some. But even if you didn't get it on sale and it was closer to $50-$60, it would have paid for itself at this point. So definitely cook. Another great idea is to try to think of meals, if you're traveling with dogs, that you can eat with the dogs. Share your meal with them. We do a lot of meals that work well for the whole family, which is 2 of us and our 2 dogs. So things like rice, meat, and vegetables, we can cook that up on the cast iron on the fire, and we can then take a portion out for the dogs. They can eat the rice, meat, and vegetables. It's good for them, and then we can add whatever seasonings and other things we want and serve us. So it just, makes the ingredients go further and makes more sense for us to cook that way, and it saves us money. And number 16, along those same lines, get ingredients that work together. Again, might sound like common sense, but a lot of times when we do shopping, we forget to get the ingredients that work together. If you're just kind of going off what you're hungry for, you might walk in and grab this and that and this and that, and then you go down the road and you don't have everything for every meal that you want to make. If you get things that work together, you can spend the money on one item and it maybe serves a portion of 3 different meals. And another one along those same lines is when you get ingredients that kind of work together, you also reduce the amount of spoiling. So you want to find ways to reduce spoiling when you're traveling, especially if you have a lot of heat. That's an issue that we often have to work through because we don't buy ice and we don't have a fancy cooler or anything to keep our stuff cold. So we have to get the things that are less likely to spoil, and also, like I said, if we get ingredients that work together, they get used up quicker and they don't go to waste. In terms of getting ingredients that don't spoil, we'll talk more about this in other videos, but just as a quick idea, if you have things with you that don't spoil, it's things like, for fresh ingredients, things like carrots and potatoes are great to tote around. They don't spoil as quickly, and we almost always have those on hand. Along with that, try to carry ingredients with you that will last a long time. So if you always have dried ingredients such as freeze-dried foods, dried fruits, nuts, oats, noodles, again, potatoes, you don't have to eat those at every meal solely, but it makes a cheap alternative down the road for you to, make a cheap meal or combine it with an existing meal just to keep the costs low. And again, those things you can have for a while. So in our case, we're on the road all the time. We always need something on hand that we can make a meal with, and those types of items never go bad. So we always have a go-to there. Another great way to save when you're shopping is to get the basic foods. If you're looking in the sections that are prepared foods, you're going to pay the price. Perfect example is you buy a pineapple instead of cut pineapple. You might pay, the convenience factor of the fact that you have to cut the pineapple, but if you want the cut fruit, you're going to pay the price. If you're trying to save money, Think of that rule of thumb of not getting the stuff that's over-prepared. Just get the simple, basic ingredient as is. All right, number 20 is rule of thumb, shop the exterior of the store. Try to limit your purchases in the interior and you'll actually save money. The exterior is kind of the more bang for your buck, nutritional sections of the store. They hide all the yucky stuff in the middle of the store. That's where you'll get into trouble into buying your snacks, chips, beer, etc. If you stick to the exterior, you're going to get your vegetables, fruit, meat, and even cheese and things like that. They obviously put them in the back and around the exterior for a reason, but if you try to stick to that rule of thumb, you'll save yourself some money on your purchases and you'll get more bang for your buck.